Ladies and gentlemen, I really feel bad for this young man. He's 21 years old. He was supposed to report to jury duty and he accidentally overslept. And because he did that, they're jailing him for 10 days. To me, this is not worth jailing a person over. This should be no more than a fine. That's it. It should not be a jailable offense. But see, these folks make jail out of everything. That's why this is the jail capital of the globe. America will jail you for stupid shit. And on top of that, they will jail you for no reason at all. This is why exonerations are always going on in this country because they have no shame about jailing people over a bunch of nothing. They have no shame about calling the police over a bunch of nothing. They have no problem with exploiting the whole criminal justice system just because they hate someone over their skin. See, that's why the criminal justice system is jacked up in America. It is really like a functional alcoholic. That's what their criminal justice system is. It really needs to be dismantled because it is really in horrible shape and it's been poorly ran. It's been ran on the guise of it's being crime when it's a lot of their biases that play a heavy role in who gets jailed up in this country. Their biases actually control the criminal justice system. That's why you got so many black men being exonerated. It's not no crime, it's their biases. Okay? They can't help but throw that in everything. So this should be fines, not jail. It is a non violent offense, just like the big reason why most black men are in jail in America for non-violent offenses. And they give you these astronomical sentences. This is ridiculous. It really is. So, this happened in great old Florida, y'all. Great old Florida. DeAndre Somerville. He's from West Palm Beach, Florida, was sworn in as a juror and scheduled to appear in court for a civil rights case in August of 2019. The 21-year-old was absent in court that day, which he later explained it was due to missing his alarm and oversleeping. So at the time, he hadn't fully understood the implications of a juror being absent at a trial. So he didn't bother to call the courthouse and clear things up. When he woke up, he got ready and headed off to West Palm Beach Parks and Recreation Department, where he works as an after school. He works in an after school program there. Well, the judge had a problem with what happened. So, according to WPTV, Somerville was sentenced to 10 days in jail and 150 hours of community service and a year of probation. Okay, and this is to prove what? And this is to prove what? See, there are certain crimes in America that should not be jailable. This is why they like the non-violent crimes on the books because that's the biggest thing they can get you on. They can't get you on anything else. That's why they like that crap on the book. This, if he's not committing the most heinous crime out here, this should not be jailable. This is waste of time and taxpayer money. That's why you have alternates. If something happens to one of your jurors, you always have an alternate that can step in. It certainly shouldn't be the end of the world. He was also required to present a written apology with at least 100 words to the court and pay a fine of $233. And that should have been the end. That should have been the end. So Somerville is fighting hard to have the charges dropped and his record cleared. Even though he has served the 10-day term, he was scheduled to be in court at 9 a.m. the day he missed jury duty. He woke up at 11:30 a.m. He didn't think it was important to call the court bailiff. At work, I was going to look on my phone thinking, what's the worst case scenario that could happen? I thought maybe I would get a fine or something like that, Somerville said in a phone interview. Somerville lives with his grandparents where he helps to look after his aged grandfather and grandmother is at work. So he's been playing basketball, and when he received a call from his grandmother that there was a police officer with a court summons for him. My grandfather said, just go in and be honest, said Somerville. I never had a criminal background, never been arrested, never been in handcuffs. The most I've ever gotten was a traffic ticket. So I was thinking it wouldn't be that bad. He went on to court, a free man that day, and was led out in handcuffs and began his jail sentence. Before my hearing, I walked into the courtroom a free man with no criminal record. Somerville's letter to the court read, I left a criminal in handcuffs. It was an immature decision that I made, and I paid the price for my freedom. A fine, jail, I think that's extreme. I really do. I think a lot of their jailings around here are very extreme. And I think that's where the bulk of their money come from. They make a lot of money on jailing people, and I think the bulk of their money comes from all of these non-violent offenses because it's almost like they just go after the most petty thing and throw people in there. And a lot of times, especially with the exoneration, they already know they put an innocent person in jail. You'll hear about the prosecutor hiding evidence. You'll hear about the cop hiding evidence or not presenting all the evidence to the prosecutor. They play a lot of games. That's why it's hard to have respect for these people. When you look over the history, past and present, and you see the kind of things they do to get people in jail that are innocent and accusing them of, how do you continue to respect that? Seriously, how do you continue to respect this when you keep repeatedly seeing it, which means they have no intentions on fixing it? And if they have no intentions on fixing it, then I don't have to respect your system. So Somerville plans to go to school and pursue his firefighter dream soon. Social media users are campaigning for the conviction to be dropped, and many said his offense was merely a misdemeanor and it did not warrant the punishment he received. His new rap sheet will affect his college application, interviews, and employment prospects. I now have a record. I almost feel like a criminal now. Now I have to explain this in every interview, Somerville said. According to WPTV, his friends and family vouched for the young man's character, stating that he volunteers for charity work in the community. They don't care about that, especially from a black man. They don't care about that. Somerville's lawyer pleaded to have his case withdrawn from the court when he was released 10 days later, although the judge insisted that his offense was a serious one. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's why you have alternates. It wasn't that serious. It should have been an alternate that stood in his spot when he was not there. That's not that serious. So the sentence was reduced from 150 hours of community service to 30 hours. There should be no hours. It should have just been a fine. In addition to this, Somerville would be required to deliver weekly 10-minute talks with the jury office on the importance and the seriousness of jury duty. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. I came to the conclusion that it was deserving of punishment. Good people make bad mistakes. Records from the court showed that the conviction had been withheld, and the judge is willing to entertain the notion to drop the conviction. Well, it should be dropped because it's stupid. No more than a fine, and that's it. All of this other extra stuff, this is all y'all do because you everybody that goes in that jail, you're making money off of them. That's why you reduce them back down to being a slave and they have no rights when they go in there, because at the end of the day, you never ended slavery in America. And number two, when something is this petty, it shouldn't go beyond a fine. It should not go beyond a fine. Y'all gonna have to tell me what you think about this one. I think it's ridiculous, and I think the judge's ruling is ridiculous too. If America, if you want to change things in your system, start by eliminating all of these petty crimes as jailable offenses. You can start there. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.